Welcome back, everyone. It's Dr. Darren Grollo, aka Dr. BBQ here once again. Thanks for joining me. I wanted to do a follow-up video here on my new Lone Star grill that I've been using now for a few weeks, playing around with it, getting used to it, and having a lot of fun. It's doing an amazing job. There was one test, though, that I haven't done yet that's going to help me an awful lot to better understand exactly how this smoker works. And how I can get the best barbecue out of it by knowing if there's any differences anywhere on the cooking surfaces, top and bottom grate, with regards to hot spots. Because even just being a few degrees off here and there can make a big difference when you're talking about especially a longer cook that goes over many hours. That can really add up and make quite a difference. So what we're going to do today is a very simple test that a lot of people are quite familiar with, but maybe you aren't. So if you're not, we are going to do a biscuit test. And it's a real simple thing. We're just going to spread some biscuits out over the cooking areas all around different spots, and we're going to let it run for a little bit and see which biscuits cook faster than the others, or do they all come out nice and even, in which case I know that the temperature it holds very consistently all over the cooking areas. It'll just let me know if there's any spots that are a little bit hotter. Let's see how that turns out. It's going to be interesting because I don't know how it's going to go, but it'll definitely help me out. Here we go. Alright, so my smoker is now just coming up to the temp that I wanted. I set it at 350 degrees, which is a little bit less than you would normally bake these biscuits in, say, your oven inside. But I want this to be able to go a little bit longer so I can better gauge where those hot spots are and really see the difference. So I'm going to be letting them go longer than you normally would if you were just baking them to have for dinner. So the way that this works, real simple. I'm going to place the biscuits in various locations around both the upper and the lower grill. That way we'll really be able to see any differences that come out. You want to keep them fairly evenly spaced. And 10. I think I'm going to just even those out a little bit. Something like that. We'll do the same on the lower grate here. There we go. So I'm going to come back and check on these in about 10 minutes. It's going to take quite a bit longer than that, but I'll start checking at 10 minutes and then probably again at 20. We'll be able to start to see how the differences are in the cooks and if there's any spot that's cooking faster than the others. And we'll just monitor things. Overall, it'll probably go for about 25 to 30 minutes so that we can really see the end result and notice any drastic differences in color and cooking. I'll come back in just a couple minutes and we'll see how they're doing. And we have now reached the 10-minute mark of our biscuit test cook. Let's open things up and see how those biscuits are looking. Alright, so right away as I look around, I can definitely see a few of them that are showing more color than the others. You can probably see on the camera right here in the front, these two. That one's a little darker in the front as well. A little bit more so in the back right corner than the other ones on the top grill. For the bottom grill, definitely along the back and in the middle right over here as well. A little bit of a hot spot showing a bit more color. So this is already starting to tell an awful lot about how this cooker specifically cooks and where temperatures might be a few degrees hotter than others. And I can use that when I do my cooks in the future. Let's let this keep going a little bit longer, check back in about 5 more minutes, and then see how we're doing. Welcome back, everyone. It has been another 5 minutes on our biscuit temperature measuring test on the new smoker here. Let's go ahead and have a look, see what the results are now. Okay, so now that it's been going a bit longer, you can probably start to see even more of a difference when we look across the cooking areas where the spots are that it's cooking hotter and where it's a little bit less. Let's start on the top rack here. I'm going to begin to take these bad boys off. So as you can see probably here, the ones that are over on this side, right here, definitely a little darker. Let's take a look at the bottoms and see how they are. So you can see how dark the bottom is there. Let's compare that with one over here. Definitely a lighter golden color, not as brown. Lighter on the top as well. So what that right away tells me is that on the top grate, it's definitely a number of degrees hotter on the right side compared to the left. How do I use that when I cook something? Let's say I'm doing a brisket. I want to put the fatter, the point, over to that side and keep the thinner flat to the cooler side. That way it's going to cook more evenly over a longer period of time. Let's go ahead and we'll get those guys off and we'll see what's happening on the bottom grate. And when I do a biscuit test, I don't like to take it too long. I know some people will take it to the point where these things are completely scorched and burnt. To me, that's wasting food. I'm going to save these biscuits because I've taken them off soon enough that even though some are more done than others, they're still very edible. We can still use them. In fact, we're going to tonight. Let's have a look at the bottom bracket now. Okay, so very similar. You can probably see that these ones right over here, definitely darker than the ones over to the left. Let's check the bottoms. So again, you can see that's quite dark, and in fact we're getting some black scorch marks on the bottom there. What about this guy back here? Much, much lighter, much more golden brown, not as dark, not as black. Yeah, quite a difference there. So very similar. Both racks are cooking in a similar manner with a greater intensity of heat over to the right than to the left, and that makes sense because that's the side where the burn pot is located, where the actual heat source is coming from. So as it radiates up from below and it travels across and then out through the smokestack, this will be a natural hotspot, and we've been able to confirm that. But from back to front, it's very consistent. And so I know that up at the top left and the bottom left are very equal. The top right and the bottom right are very equal. And it's not as though the back cooks much hotter than the front. It's quite even from front to back. That's great knowledge, and it's going to help me a lot in my future cooks. So that's basically what we do for a biscuit test. It's easy, it's simple, it's inexpensive, and it can give you some great information that you can then use to try and get the best possible outcome on your cooks in the future. So if it's one that you've never done before, I highly recommend it. It's good to know exactly how your cooker works and where you should be putting your meat for future reference, and that way you're going to get the best possible results. Hopefully this video helped out. You guys take care. I've got more coming down the line, so join me again in just a little bit. I've got some more that I hope you're going to enjoy. I wish everyone a great day, all the best, and remember, don't be afraid to fire up your grill, have some smoke, feed some people, put smiles on faces, and that's what it's all about. Take care.